Hello, my name is Blake Roney. I'm one of the founders of Nu Skin Enterprises. What began in 1984 in the living room of an apartment has evolved into a global organization involving over 750,000 distributors in 45 countries. It has always been our mission to improve people's lives through our products and our opportunity, and thanks to the tireless efforts of our wonderful distributors, I believe we're accomplishing that mission. The video training series you're about to experience is the realization of a goal my fellow co-founders, Steve and Sandy, and I have shared for many years. It's called the Success Formula, and it's a collection of the best principles and practices we have utilized for nearly 25 years in building this organization. I'm hopeful you'll be able to use this information in the building up of your own business and in the pursuit of your happiness throughout your life. In an effort to capture the very best practices of our organization, I asked my friends Troy Dunn and TJ Hoisington, two experts in mindset training, to develop a training program using what we here at Nu Skin have been doing for over 2 decades. I gave them full access to our distributors around the world. I also asked them to spend time with the members of our corporate team, as well as the folks in our $1 Million Club. Additionally, Steve, Sandy, and I also spent considerable time with Troy and TJ sharing and reflecting on what we believe to be the best tools and strategies for developing the proper mindset for success. Not just success in business, but success in life, happiness. The result is the Success Formula. 12 key ingredients for success. I'm very excited to see this mindset training program finally come to reality after so many years of planning for it. I'm confident that if you will truly participate in the Success Formula and embrace the 12 ingredients for success, you will see immediate results in your business and in your personal life that will become a permanent part of who you are. It's my privilege to introduce to you the Success Formula.
Welcome to the Power of Clarity. I'm Troy Dunn. As you well know, life is a journey. And 5, 10, 20 years from now, you will arrive at a destination, somewhere. The question is, where? As any great explorer will tell you, you don't just set your boat adrift in the ocean and hope it takes you someplace interesting. Anyone trying this approach usually ends up lost at sea or smashed against the shore. No, a good boat captain knows you must plan your route and navigate your way through the rough seas until you arrive safe and sound at your pre-selected destination. You are the captain of your life. And by embarking on this exciting journey we call the Success Formula, you are choosing to navigate your way to a better life. If you've ever used a map to make a trip, you know, there are good maps and bad maps. A bad map is confusing and difficult to follow, while a good map clearly marks the way you go. A good map has clarity. The purpose of the Success Formula is to help you create a good map for your business, for your life. High achievers know exactly what they want. How do they do it? Well, it begins with dominant thoughts. Whatever you allow your mind to dwell on, you will attract. Once you clearly know what it is that you want, you will begin to discover the resources and opportunities to make that dominant thought become reality. The key is clarity. For example, if you want a new car, don't just let your dominant thought be, I want a new car. Drizzle some details over that thought. What type of car? What color is it going to be? Can you see it sitting in your driveway? That detailed description of your new car should become your dominant thought, because that is clarity.
One element of the Success Formula is that you need to know what you want. My belief is that people do get what they deserve, and they tend to get what they want out of life. And that one of the limiters of success is that limitation of never really sitting down and defining, what do I want my life to stand for? What do I want to achieve in my life?
Well, I think that you have to start with, what do I really want? What are my wants? Before you can just determine purpose or passion, what do I want to see in my life a year from now, 2 years from now? Where do I want to be? And then you can say, all right, how do I get there?
目的というのは、自分のトータルの人生ですよ。自分がこうありたいと思う自分の人生で、それの、目的に達するまでに一つ一つ目標だから、みんなに言うのは目標と目的を間違えないでほしいと。目的を達成するために一つ一つ目標を立てて、この時まで今年中にはこうしたい。
I think it's really critical to have your dream life in your mind so that you're constantly adjusting and designing your business in such a way to accomplish that, because you could very easily be highly successful and not accomplish the lifestyle you really want to accomplish in your heart. So it's a really critical deal up front to try to figure out who you want to be. You know, what do you want your life to be like? Because you have to design your program accordingly.
目标设定当然是非常非常的重要，因为你一定要有设定所谓的初期的短期目标、中期目标跟长期目标，因为目标呢才会产生的动力。所谓初期的目标，就是说开始接触了这个生意，那么这个前面的那个阶段呢，我们称叫做一面做一面学的阶段，然后慢慢成长以后，到所谓的在我们这个事业里面呢，所谓的中期目标，就是达到 Ruby。就是我们的一个相当重要的一个中间干部，那么成为 Ruby 以后，那么表示他已经在这个生意上已经有相当的历练，相当的历练以后，再过来就是达到最高的境界，叫做蓝钻 Blue Diamond。所以本来就是需要设定这些目标，他才会一直呢保持他的那个动力，一直到最高点。所以我认为这个设定目标呢是最重要的。
Well, nothing is to be easy in life, I'm sure, especially for some people. But if you think about it, you just have to determine what you want in life. And if you're firm in your belief that you can achieve it, you will be able to achieve it.
I think it's actually very important to know what you're working toward. Because in some cases, maybe this isn't a good home for people. In many cases, it's probably the perfect home. But you have to understand, at least in general, what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. I knew that I wanted, most of all, a strong family relationship, but I also wanted a level of freedom that allowed me to go to my kids' games, go serve, for my church if they needed me to, if I couldn't go home from work at 5 o'clock some days to go be involved in those kinds of activities, I viewed that as potentially a real negative lifestyle. So I knew that the lifestyle I wanted would allow some level of freedom for me to be able to serve and help other people, and certainly a great level of freedom to be able to support my family and my wife and my children, whatever they were doing, and look like I was a good dad. And for most people, if that's their goal, they'll be able to find that home here. If all they care about is, money, I just want lots of money, that's all I know, maybe this would be their home and maybe it won't be, but you probably should be building the business in a different way, depending on what your dream is.
In my view, people are sold on the wrong things. They're sold on the trivial stuff in life. They're sold on the day-to-day, let's get by, let's get the paycheck. What I do in my business is I sell people back on their dreams, and I believe wholeheartedly everybody has a dream. They may have forgotten it, they may have suppressed it, they might have given up on it, but it's our job in a way to inspire people to re-look at their dreams.
Number one, the people who can be successful, they really have a big dream, they know what they are doing, and they know why they are doing that.
So the question is, why is clarity important? Here's why. Research shows that once your mind is clear about something you want to achieve, your mind will work day and night to make that image a reality. As a result of knowing clearly what you want, you'll begin to gravitate toward that desired outcome. You'll also begin noticing things that are all around you that you never noticed before. For example, wherever you are right now, notice the sounds around you. Listen. Maybe you hear a fan running, maybe a car driving by, or there are people around you who are creating some noise. Now, let's even focus a little deeper. If you're really quiet, you might even notice your own breathing. See, I'm certain wherever you are, through this exercise, you began noticing noises that you were unaware of 20 seconds ago. Drawing your attention to certain things brings them into focus. And on the contrary, when you're unclear, even when opportunities arise, they will simply go unnoticed. Again, anything you dwell on over a period of time, you will eventually manifest in your life. Think about it. Have you ever really wanted something? Really wanted something like a new computer, a new car, some new gadget, or a nicer home, whatever it might be. And even though you didn't have the money at the time to purchase that item, you started dwelling and dreaming about it. You couldn't get it off your mind. And somehow, 2 months later, you own that item. I think if you really slowed down and reflected on your life, you would find at least one instance where this happened. Again, whatever you put your focus on, you will get, so focus wisely.
Clarity means refining your vision and your hopes for the future as specifically as possible. But the more precisely that you can envision, and the more likely it is you're going to end up where you belong.
It gives you a purpose. Where do I want to be in a year from now? All right, now I have a purpose. Now I know where I want to be in a year from now. The passion's going to come in your pursuit of it, in your everyday positive thought and attitude toward pursuing that. That's where the passion comes from.
Yeah, I think the power of your thoughts actually guides you. So, for instance, like when you want to buy some car, and all of a sudden you feel there's cars surround you all the time, but before you have that thought, you don't see any car at all. Yeah, that's one of the example.
When you get in a business like this, you've got to know, you've got to have a dream of where you want to go in life, what you want to accomplish. And in this business, dreams change all the time, because as you attain one of the dreams get bigger. And what's fun is to have an open mind and know that this is going to be a constant change in life. Your dreams change and the goals change, but just be prepared. If you're with the right company, with the right products, at the right time in the marketplace, you can achieve anything you want in this world, and that's what we've got.
Another important aspect to the ingredient of clarity is that you must focus on what you want versus what you don't want. Oftentimes, you ask people what they want, and many reply back with what they don't want to have happen. They say, well, I don't want this to happen, or I don't want that to happen, and then they wonder why that's exactly what happens. Please understand that the mind has a difficult time computing the word don't. For example, if I were to say to you, don't picture me standing on top of a car driving down the road, what did you picture? You bet. You likely pictured me standing on top of a car driving down the road. It's the same if you have young children and you tell them not to do something only to be puzzled when they did the exact thing you told them not to do. It's like if someone says, I don't want to smoke anymore. What is the dominant picture? Of course, smoking. Again, whatever the dominant image is, you will eventually make that a reality.
In addition to creating clarity around what you want, it is so important you're clear about why you want it. As you try to add clarity to your dominant thought, imagine what the benefits will be. Imagine how you will feel when you accomplish that goal. Ask yourself why accomplishing this goal is so important to you and your family. However you answer that question is your why. The why is ultimately going to be the driving force that powers your journey, that creates that hunger that is so common among successful people. This newfound clarity of your why will be what gets you through the tough times.
Well, you have to go back at the beginning of the business. You have to remember that when John and I started this business, I had a 14-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-month-old baby. For me, it was about being a mother at home with my children. I wanted to give the boys the martial arts classes they wanted. It cost money. I wanted to give the girls the violin lessons they wanted, the ballet lessons. It all cost money. I wanted to have a better life for my children.
When I look at the people that overcome failures in this business, that overcome setbacks, that overcome problems in this business, the one thing they have in common is they've never forgotten what it is that brought them in the business. There's a reason they joined the business. They had an ultimate goal, an ultimate why, an ultimate belief, and they kept focus on that piece.
When we were a young company, Blake and I sat on an airplane flying somewhere, and Blake asked me the question, how much is rich? I said, what? He said, how much money do you have to have in the bank to be rich? And so we had a long flight ahead of us, so he and I each started kind of working out the arithmetic. Well, you know, I need to have enough money to make sure I can pay the rent on the place that I'm living, and we came up with a number of $230,000. If you had $230,000, it was readily, you know, invested in safe municipal bonds or whatever, you'd be rich. Well, now ask me the question today, what is rich? And I would probably come up with another dollar number than that. But I think the first thing that would come out of my mouth is that rich doesn't have much to do with money, or assets, or toys, or lifestyle. It has to do with the feeling you have inside surrounding the contributions you're making to life, the lives that you're positively affecting, sometimes the lives that you're saving. And so as we think about what do we want in life, my personal testimony is that that's a changing thing, and that if we go about our lives right, we'll come to recognize that the most important wants we have in life may not even occur to us as a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 50-year-old.
In other words, there are means and then there are ends. And in the success formula, the what would represent the means, while the whys will represent the ends, meaning positive emotions.
As you listen to the founders of this great organization share their personal beliefs and feelings, listen carefully for the deeper reason behind their convictions. You will discover why they do what they do.
I wonder if you realize the amount of good that you can do. You can't be driven, really, because your wife wants you to bring home a bigger check. All these things have to be designed around your values, your passion, what's important to you in life, so that you can kind of go that extra mile that's required to have the extra mile of success that people living average lives don't have. There's a reason. They don't stretch. They can't, you know, go beyond the norm because they're not passionately driven to go beyond the norm. They haven't lined up their career and their life and their time and their effort with their passion, with their values.
The notion that many of us have is simply, well, I'd like a nice car and a boat and a safe place for my family to live and maybe a motor home, and you know, we kind of go on thinking about material things, whereas if we were to sit down with ourselves and be honest, and sit down with our spouse and talk about, you know, we're going to get 60 more years here, or 30 more years here, or 10 more years here. What do we want our lives to stand for? What purpose will our lives have? Man, maybe a boat's on that list, and that's not an unholy thing to want nice things and be able to enjoy some of the good things in life together. But there's probably, on reflection, going to be more going on that list that will be more motivating to you to go out and do the hard things you have to do to be successful, you know, than just a boat or a nice car.
You know, unfortunately, we go through life when we're trying to pick our career. Everyone tells us, well, you should do what you enjoy. And, you know, frankly, that confused me when I was younger, because I liked snow skiing. I liked playing basketball. I wasn't going to make money from either one of those things. And really what they should be saying is, you need to do something that matches with your values. So things that are important to you. If you're doing something all day long that's not important to you, doesn't contribute to what's important to you, then you're on a dead-end course. You're going to fail or just be miserable, one of the two. So your passion has to come from your values. You have to figure out what's really important to you in life, and then back that into the business. Figure out, okay, how do I advance those things? How do I hang on to those values and build them while building my business? What role can my business play in accomplishing those values? Most people think, well, I want lots of money, but that isn't really true. They want what they can do with money. They want a lifestyle, they want freedom, or maybe they want the ability to help other people because they have extra income that they don't need to use on themselves. They want to be admired by others for positive reasons, or they want to, you have to figure out what's important to you and work that into the business. Because if you're just working for money and that doesn't happen to be the thing that's most important to you in the world, I hope it's not, you're not going to have the success you need.
I think the question of knowing what you want can evolve over time. You may start out by wanting to be involved in this business for the money or the wealth or the freedom. And those are legitimate goals, legitimate reasons to get involved with our company. What we've found, though, is that reason for getting involved, those goals that are set out initially, change over time. They become deeper. They become more meaningful. They start with possibly material things, but eventually they evolve into things that deal with people. In fact, most of our leaders will tell you that what keeps them motivated once they've achieved their goals is the ability to help other people. We are a people business, and helping people is what we're all about.
You're probably motivated to succeed, or you wouldn't be investing your time into this training program. But are you being driven by the right type of motivation? There are 3 common motivators. 2 of them are somewhat superficial and only create temporary success, while one of them is sustaining and creates permanent success. We endorse this 3rd form of motivation. Let me share more clarity on this topic. The 3 types of motivation are: number 1, fear motivation. If you were to tell your children, clean your room or you'll be in trouble, that's fear-based motivation, because your child is motivated to clean his room, but only because he fears the consequences of failure. The 2nd form of motivation is incentive motivation. Using that same analogy, if you told your child, clean your room and I'll take you out for ice cream, she's going to clean her room because there's a short-term reward in it, ice cream. But the key there is short-term. The 3rd and final form of motivation is purpose motivation. This is the form with the longest lasting results, because it's one which is driven from within. Your child ultimately realizes that keeping a clean room is a more desirable way to live, and therefore has established a lifelong commitment.
We learn that there are 3 kinds of motivation. We're motivated by fear, very effective in the short run, but adrenaline runs out in 90 seconds. There's incentive. I'm going to trade my time for money. I'm going to trade my energy for money. And that'll get us so far down the road. But to do the very difficult things in life, it takes something more than that. It takes purpose. It takes a clear vision inside ourselves of what we want our life to stand for and what we're willing to sacrifice in order to bring that meaning to our lives. Motivation is not adrenaline. Some of us will walk into a meeting and be so excited about what we're hearing that adrenaline is coursing through our veins, and we walk out intending to do great things and to expend great energies, but adrenaline is gone before we get through the parking lot. Adrenaline is not motivation. Motivation without a success formula simply yields frustration. I'm really motivated and I don't know what to do, it is lethal to any enterprise. And so when we motivate in the business, we hope that the encouraging things that we're saying are married directly to, and here's specifically what you need to go home and do. If you'll do those things, then you'll find the motivation to move on. Healthy motivation requires us to have a proper vision about what we want in life. If we want the right things, we'll find the motivation to accomplish those things. If the things we want really don't animate us, I want a boat because my neighbor has a boat, but I'm actually afraid of the water. Then working towards that boat isn't going to get you there. Isn't going to wake you up in the morning and cause you to do the hard things you've got to do to go places other people aren't willing to go. But if your motivation is, I love my son will never get to college if I don't do something about it. No, that'll get you out of bed in the morning. That's gotten me out of bed in the morning.
When we talk about benefits, whys, and values, that would all fall under purpose motivation. Purpose motivation gives you the greatest source of energy, of drive, and momentum toward achieving your long-term goals. Again, your why is your deep gut feelings and convictions. It's the fuel that drives you at the very core, your soul. It's who you are. It's what dominates your thoughts and feelings. When you know your why, you could literally run into a dozen obstacles and they wouldn't even faze you, because your why is bigger than the setbacks and bigger than any obstacle.
So what if you don't know what you value? What if you don't know what you want? What if you don't know your why? Just take some quiet time and begin thinking about what is really important in your life. Give yourself plenty of time and plenty of paper and just start writing. Ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing? What makes me happy? What gives me real satisfaction? If you still feel stuck, then another thing you can do is ask yourself, if I did know what I wanted, what would it be? Seriously, ask yourself that question. If I did know what I wanted, what would it be? When you ask yourself that way, your mind will feel obligated to search out and deliver an answer. Another way to discover what your personal values are is to simply look at your own behaviors. Sometimes what we say doesn't always match what we do. As a 17-year-old boy, I loved football, but sometimes my efforts during practice didn't necessarily reflect the discipline of a young man who truly loved the sport. I'll never forget something my coach said to me after a rough day of practice. He asked me if I enjoyed playing football. I said yes. He responded saying, well, I see your lips moving, but your actions speak so loud I can hardly hear a word you're saying. What do your actions say about your personal values? Do they truly reflect what is most important to you in your life? Try to identify the things that will make you feel great long term, and then design your life around those things. Those are your true values.
I think you have to pick who you want to be. You have to look around for role models and figure out who seems to be living the life you want to live, and start to act like those people in every way that you can. When I was in high school, I found that it made adults happy if I told them I was going to be a dentist when I grew up. And they left me alone, and so life was great. It really shortened the process of being lectured by adults. And so whenever I took an aptitude test in high school, they gave you these tests, each question I'd say, what would a dentist say? And I'd answer accordingly, and lo and behold, each time it would say, you should be a dentist. All the adults would say, woo, what a fine boy. Off we went, and they left me alone so I could play basketball and do whatever I wanted to do. But there's an interesting pattern in that I've seen. You pick someone who's living the way you want to live, someone who you would like to be, and you just start doing everything the way they would do it, and you turn into them over time. And so self-development to me is picking who you want to be and then acting like that person now, not hoping to become that person and therefore you look and feel and smell like that person, but you start acting like them right now, and over time you become that person that you want to be.
想念というものを進めてます。想念はですね、夜寝るときにカーってもう寝てしまうまでのね短い時間なんですけども、なりたい自分、叶えたい自分の将来、これ強くねイメージします。そうするとその習慣がですね、自然と自分がさも、そのような人になるんだっていうね、気持ちに必ずなるんですね。でそういうふうに考えていくと、現実の世界でふと気がついた時に、そうでない自分は本当はこうなるべきなのにまだこうなってない、こうなることが正しいんですよね。そうなってると、現実の自分はこうなる人と不足しているところとか、悪い意味じゃなくて欠如しているところが気がつくんですよね。でここを学んで直していきたいとか、自分はもっと成長していきたいっていうふうになります。それをいつもやっていくことによって、本当に自分の思いが自分の変化ってものを作っていったりとか、結果的に言うこととかやることが変わってきて、周りの人のまた対応が違ってきて、それが実は成功につながっていくっていう科学的な裏付けなんですよね。だからイメージしたことは現実になるんです。これをぜひね頑張ってください。
Understanding what you want and where you want to be begins with the idea of who you are. It's a twofold question. One is who you are, and the second is what you want. There's a story of a tourist on a small desert island. It's a Caribbean island. He gets up in the morning, he goes out on the beach, and after about 2 hours, he's completely lost, dehydrating, getting sunburned, and he's going, man, if I go this way and it's not to my hotel, or this way it's not to my hotel, I could get burned and I could be in trouble. So he sees a man on the sand dunes, and the guy's walking over, and he's got, stiff shoulders back, bulldog leash in his hand. He was a former commander in some navy somewhere. And the tourist runs up to him and says, "Excuse me, sir," he said, "could you please tell me where I am? I'm completely lost." And the guy, being really full of himself, goes, "Don't you know who I am?" He goes, "Isn't it amazing? I don't know where I am, and you don't know who you are." You gotta know who you are in the business, and that's entrepreneurship. You have to decide to be an entrepreneur first. Once you know who you are, then you can set any goal you want. That's the second step.
But I wasn't a person who long ago knew exactly who I wanted to be career-wise and followed that path. I do periodically tell people, yes, when I was 4, I decided I want to sell lotion, and worked toward it ever since, but it's not true. I really didn't have a career theory, except that I liked people and I liked improving lives, and I wanted some kind of career that allowed me to do both of those, be involved in both those things.
Remember, when you're vague, you get vague results. When you're general, you get general results. And when you're specific, you will get specific results. So remember, detail, detail, detail. Once you're specific, write down your ideals and goals. There is an unforeseen power that comes as a result of just putting your pen to paper.
So you become what you think about. So focus on the thing you want. And if you don't know what you want, then take the exercise of beginning to write out something. I focus upon, and then say what it is. And if it isn't right, remember, you can change it because you wrote it. And you might change it 1,000 times to get it right. Hey, that's okay. We are made to grow, to become, to learn how to focus on the right things. So if you don't have your focus perfected, now is the time to work on that, so you know what to expect in life.
But the key is to know exactly what you want, believe that you can achieve that thing, and then take action every single day to achieve that thing. I look at some of our most successful distributors. They put together something called dream books, and they're very specific. They show the house that they would like to build. They show the vacation that they would like to go on. They have pictures of their children. They have a picture of their spouse or friend, and they know that they're going to spend more time with those people. And those people that have those dream books and look at those dream books every single day, re-energize themselves, believe in those dream books, and then take action every single day are the people that find success in this business. They're the people that become successful. So knowing exactly what you want out of this business is so important. Don't have a vague vision of what you would like to get out of this business. Know exactly what you want out of this business, and then take the steps every single day to achieve that thing. That's what creates a successful distributor.
そうですね。私にしてみたら、その夢を持つっていうことは一つの憧れであって、そこにまずたどり着くっていうことがまず今までの生活では無理。そしてこのビジネスで目標を設定することによってまず夢を実現できるかもしれないという気持ちを持ちました。私自身がその体験をすることによって今までいろんなことをいろんな人たちに学ばせてもらって教えてもらったり気づかさせてもらったりいろいろしましたが、自分自身が成長していくっていうことに気づいた時に大勢の人たちが周りにいました。そこで自分が初めてほんの小さな夢を実現することによってまた一つ夢また一つ夢一つ一つたくさんの夢を自分がものにすることによって大きな達成感を得ました。
Through the success formula, you're going to have the opportunity to really narrow down the things that you want to accomplish. You know, our best leaders in the world have dreams. And we want people to take an opportunity to discover their dreams or rediscover their dreams. You know, if participation in traditional business has taken your hopes and dreams of what you wanted to accomplish in life and put them in a box and you've thrown them out the door, you know what, now's the time to sit down and dream big. You know, put some of those dreams into written form, put them into visual form, whatever it is. One of our distributors that I supported from the very day that I've been in this company, out of San Diego, California, created a dream board. And I had never really understood the dynamics of a dream board. But, you know, when she first got in the business, she was a housekeeper working for, you know, basically subsistence pay. She was a single mother, got involved in the business, saw the wealth that could be created, went home and started cutting out pictures out of a magazine of things that she wanted to achieve in life. Well, about 5 years later, she was a blue diamond, and I went down to her home. And she took me up to her office and showed me her dream board that she had created when she first joined this company, and she wasn't even making a dime. What was absolutely amazing to me and to everybody who's ever seen this dream board is that every single picture that she put on that dream board had become reality. The home that she was in looked exactly like the home that she had cut out back in 1986 and put on her dream board. You know, you need to understand that that's the kind of discovering of your dreams, and you know, think big. And then once you have that, and once you've written it down or you've put it in visual form, you know what, put it someplace where you see it every day, because that whole repetition process will change your mindset. Not only will it give you a more positive attitude, but it will also give you laser focus, which all come together to create success.
Michelangelo once said, "The greater danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it." I, along with my co-founders and several members of our $20 million circle, have spent time sharing with you just how important the power of clarity truly is. One of the best ways to achieve true clarity in your life is to set goals. By set, I mean write down. If you have the workbook, which came with this video, we provided a place for you to do this. But if you don't have it, grab a pen and paper, start writing, right now, while it's fresh on your mind, because procrastination is not part of the success formula. This is not a time to be critical or concerned with how you're going to accomplish the goals. Just set them. I encourage you to think 1, 5, 10, 20 years into the future as you start writing your goals. Andrew Carnegie loved to tell people, if you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. I agree with that wholeheartedly and live this principle in my own life. I invite you to do the same. The power of clarity is an essential ingredient in the success formula. So go write your goals, watch this video often, and I'll see you soon to share with you the next ingredient in the success formula.